Whenever a candidate gets his or her Ielts result, often it is seen that the lowest band is achieved in the writing module. It is no doubt, though, that the writing module is more tough as compared to reading or listening module. But there are certain ways by which you can get a high band in it. This video will let you know about the steps. Subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Step 1. Introduction. Task 1 of academic module asks a candidate to describe the information given in a visual format in 20 minutes. Here, the minimum word limit is 150. There can be graphs, charts, tables, or diagrams. Step 2. Structure of a high band answer. Here, you won't write introduction or conclusion, as this is a report writing. Here, we only interpret what is given to us in the task. No personal opinion should be added here. You have to write an opening paragraph in the beginning and a closing paragraph at the end. Opening paragraph contains the aim or the paraphrased question, usually 1 to 2 sentences. The body paragraphs, 2 or 3, or sometimes it can be 4, depending upon the type of the task or the number of the graphs. Closing paragraph should state the overall changes or trend of the graph and usually consists of 1 or 2 sentences. Step 3. How to write the opening paragraph. The opening paragraph is nothing but carefully paraphrased question. But one has to keep it in mind that not every word needs to be paraphrased here. Step 4. How to write the body paragraph. It is advised that one should start with the most important point while writing the body paragraph, though it is not compulsory to do so. 2-3 paragraphs are ideal in task 1. Step 5. Language. Practicing how to use appropriate language should be carried out by every candidate. If you find certain trends, try to use different words for writing each trend. For this, keep a dictionary handy where you can check for the synonyms. Step 6. Describing a process or a map. When describing a process or a map, observing carefully is a vital practice. If you spot any or many changes, note it by the side of the map, which will provide you as a guide when writing. For a process, if certain names in the steps are not mentioned, use your pencil to mark the things or write the names below or above it. Step 7. Closing a paragraph or overview. This can be done in the last paragraph, though a few students prefer to write it in the second paragraph after the opening paragraph. If you write that at the end, you can easily point out the overall trends as you have written about them in the preceding paragraphs. Although you can write that in the second paragraph. In this case, you have to work roughly beside the question and note the overall trends. That's all for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and share the video.
Hello everyone. Today's topic is types of essays. So basically there are 4 types of essays in IELTS exam, which I will show you, and in one of the types there are actually 2 subcategories which I will explain to you. Okay, so let's start. The first one is agree disagree. And in this, the subtype is to what extent do you agree or disagree? Now, in agree or disagree, here a general statement is usually given and you have to either agree with it or you can also go against the statement by disagreeing. So basically, it is one-sided discussion essay. So here the method that I followed was sticking to one side. That is, only stating whether I was agreeing or stating whether I was disagreeing to the essay or that general statement. So if you are getting the question like, to what extent do you agree or disagree? Here you can totally or fully, mainly, partly, and not at all agree or disagree with the statement. There are chances of self-contradiction in this kind of questions. So the tip is better go for fully or not at all agreeing or disagreeing to avoid self-contradictions. In this kind of questions, if we are going for one side, it is better for us. This is because whenever we are saying that we are agreeing and we are giving the ideas and the explanations in support for that, we can explain that in a better way or elaborate that in a good way rather than saying we are agreeing or disagreeing in a partial way, or sometimes we're saying that we are agreeing or disagreeing mainly with this thing. This is because there are times when we are having only one idea, and on that idea if we are saying agreeing and then elaborating and again we are saying we are disagreeing and elaborating, this kind of things causes contradiction in to what extent you agree or disagree essays. So in both of the essays, that is, do you agree or disagree, or the second one, the subcategory, that is, to what extent do you agree or disagree, here we are giving our ideas, we are explaining that, and at the end we are giving the examples which are in support of that idea, and then we are just closing the circle that we began with our idea. So this kind of essays, that is, to what extent do you agree or disagree, is one or two-sided essay depending on the thing you are saying in your opinion. Because if you are going for totally or not at all, it becomes one-sided opinion essay. But if you are going for mainly or partly, it becomes two-sided opinion essay. Now, an example of agree or disagree type of essay, that is opinion-based essay, can be like this. Some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. For example, working for a charity, improving the neighborhood, or teaching sports to younger children. Do you agree or disagree? Now the same kind of question can be asked, like, some people believe that unpaid community service should be a compulsory part of high school programs. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So, here the both kind of agree or disagree, that is opinion based essays, the both kind is stated. The next kind of essays are advantage and disadvantage essay, and there is also a subtype under it, which is the questions are generally like, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or vice versa? So, the basic kind of advantage and disadvantage questions in essays, how we answer them. Actually, here, usually a fact is stated, and you have to write the advantage or merits as well as the disadvantages or demerits of that same statement. And here also you have to provide examples. Now, again, there is a chance of contradiction in this kind of essays, because if a single statement is given, on the same thing you are giving some kind of merits, and on the same thing you are giving some demerits. So, there are times when we are having only one idea, and again we are going for the both positive and negative side of that idea. So, in this kind of essays, one has to be cautious while answering. This kind of essay are generally known as negative or positive discussion essay. Now, in the subcategory of advantage and disadvantage essay that we already mentioned, that they ask question like, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, or vice versa? So, here we have to state both advantages and the disadvantages as we already did in the previous type. And then we have to provide our opinion. Here, we have to state both advantages and the disadvantages. Then, by providing our opinion, we can state whether the advantages outweighs or outnumbers the disadvantages or not. We do the same thing as we have done in the advantage and disadvantage type of essay. The only difference here is we give our opinion regarding the pros and cons. And again, there are chances of self-contradiction in this kind of essays as well. So, this is basically a kind of pros and cons discussion plus our opinion type of essay. An example of advantages and disadvantages essays can be like this. Computers are being used more and more in education. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this phenomena. Now, in the subcategory of outweighing questions, same questions can be given, like computers are being used more and more in education. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages. Do you think that the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Next is the discussion essays. That is, the essays in which we are asked to write or discuss both views. Now, there is also a subcategory in this kind of essays in which they ask us about the opinion or discuss both views and give your own opinion. So, in the discuss both views and give your opinion kind of essays, here two statements are generally given. They are arguments actually. And in one of the statement, it asserts the opposite of the other one. Here, you have to support both of the views like a debate. You have to write the positive sides of both of the views and give your own opinion too. The thing that I had done for my exam was the view that I supported. I wrote that in body para 2, that is, the paragraph after introduction and the body para 1. So it was easier for me actually to provide my opinion from there in the conclusion. Though sequencing like this does not matter for band score, I felt that it was a better way to write in the examination, and maybe it was a better way to provide my views to the examiner in a much clear way. So this kind of essays are basically two-sided discussion plus the opinion type of essays. Now, the essay type is discuss both views. Note well that it has not been asked to provide your opinion in this kind of essays, and the major mistakes that students do here is giving their own opinion. And by doing this, the task response is reduced, means the band score from your task response is generally decreased if you're providing your own opinion in this kind of essays. So in this kind of essays, just support the views, that is the both views, as you did in discuss both views and give your own opinion. The only difference in this kind of essay will be you will not give the point of view, that is your own opinion. Now, the first view, that is the first set of people will say this, and you have to support that. The first view will be in body para 1 and the second will be in body para 2. And again, I'm saying never ever provide your own opinion here. So this is basically two-sided discussion essay, and again without any opinion. So an example of discussion type or discuss both views type essay can be like this. Computers are being used more and more in education. Some people say that this is a positive trend, while others argue that it is leading to negative consequences. Discuss both sides of this argument. Now, if they only ask you to discuss both sides of the argument, you know that is a two-sided discussion essay. Now the same question can be asked like this. Computers are being used more and more in education. Some people say that this is a positive trend, while others argue that it is leading to negative consequences. Discuss both sides of this argument and then give your own opinion. So this one is two-sided discussion plus opinion type of essays, and in both of the type you have to support your idea by giving enough elaboration, and then you have to provide examples as well. Last but not the least is the two-part question type. And in the two-part question type, the questions can be connected like a cause-effect or effect solution or cause solution or problem solution kind of essays, or the two parts may be unconnected like cause or effect or solution plus another question. So the cause effect or effect solution, that is the connected two-part questions, in this kind of questions we generally discuss about the reasons or the results and the remedies. So maybe there are two or maybe three, like they can ask the cause, the effect and the solution here, or only cause effect, effect solution, cause solution. Now, while writing the causes, focus on one or two ideas and explain them carefully with examples in BP1, or that is body para 1. In body para 2, give the effects which are relevant to the causes you stated in BP1. For example, the causes in BP1 is the effect 1 due to cause 1 and explain, and the effect 2 due to cause 2, explain with example. This is a type of two questions essay. The other type of two question essay that I explained is cause effect solution plus a question, like is it positive or a negative trend or something like that can be asked. Now these are the two unconnected questions. Here, after stating the answer to question 1, give your own opinion, and that also depends on question 2. Like the opinion will be regarding the fact. This is a kind of discussion plus opinion essay. An example of a two-part question which are connected can be like this. Students are becoming more and more reliant on computers. What are some of the problems associated with reliance on computers? And what are some of the possible solutions? So, in this kind of essays, we can see that the problems associated with fact that is stated in this kind of question and the solutions for the same problem are being asked. So basically, it is a connected two-part question. The second type of two-part question, where the questions are unconnected, can be like this. As most people spend a major part of their adult life at work, job satisfaction is an important element of individual well-being. What factors contribute to job satisfaction? How realistic is the expectation of job satisfaction for all workers? Now, in this kind of question, we can see the two questions that are given are not connected. Because in the first question, they ask us about the factors contribute to job satisfaction. So they are asking for the reasons, the causes. And in the second part, they're asking how realistic is this expectation of job satisfaction. That is, they're asking about some kind of effect or what the thing is giving us. That is, they're not connected actually, we can see. So basically, the two-part unconnected questions can be of the same type. And for answering this, we have to support our answers with examples from our own experiences only. Today we are going to do task 1 of your writing module of academic Ielts. The question given here is, the two maps below show an island before and after the construction of some tourist facilities. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Now these are the two maps. One is before and another is after. One thing, when you are given a map, you should always mark the directions, that is, north for up, south for down, east for the right side and west for the left side. You can mark northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest also. But most of the maps do not require those directions. Another point is, here you can see a notation is given for footpath and vehicle track. and you can check for those dotted lines and that double dotted lines in the map of the after construction period. Now, while writing the map, the opening paragraph should be the paraphrased question. So the question here was summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparison, and the question was two maps below show an island before and after the construction of some tourist facilities. Now how will one paraphrase this one? You can paraphrase before and after by pre and post. So after paraphrasing, it can look like the two rendered maps exhibit the pre-construction and post-construction images for tourist facilities in a seaside region. You can see that I haven't changed certain words like tourist facilities, maps, but I have changed certain words like I have changed seaside region for island, because you can see in the island it is located near the sea, so you can use seaside region or beach, anything. The second paragraph tells about the pre-construction period. So I have written, to initiate with, it is apparent that before, in the northern and southern part of the region, there was a sea, while the sea beach was on the western side of it. There were trees in the western, northeastern and southeastern part of the region. Now you can check the map. In the before period, you can see that the north and the south part of the map has sea written over there, and you can also see there is a beach in the western side or in the left hand side of the map, and there are some trees. You can also name them as palm trees, coconut trees, but better stick to trees. And these trees, one of the group of trees are in the western side, another is in the northeastern side, and another is in the southeastern side. So here the direction marking should be southeastern, northeastern, northwestern, southwestern. Again, in the third para, I have written, on further examination from the post-construction map, it is evident that several places for tourist accommodation has been constructed in the central and the western side of the island. Post-construction means the after construction period, when the construction was over. So here there are several places for tourist accommodation. Now you can check the map for that, and you can see these are the accommodations that are built after the construction period was over. And the locations also are mentioned by me. Here one is in the western side, as you can see, and another is in the central side. This is the central portion of the map. Then I have written, there is also a restaurant between the tourist accommodations. So check the map. Between these two tourist accommodations or the group of houses that are meant for tourists, there is a restaurant. So in the south of the restaurant, there is a reception. You can see in the map. And so it has been written accordingly. You can write here that the reception lies beneath the restaurant or below the restaurant, but writing south would be good for your band score, because here you are sticking to the directions. Now, in the south of the restaurant, a reception has been built. After this, there won't be a full stop. This is a typing mistake, sorry. This is a single sentence. So after being built,
put a comma and write which is encircled by a vehicle track. Now you can see here that this reception is encircled by the bold dotted line, and in the notation the bold dotted line or the double dotted line stands for the vehicle track. So here I have mentioned that in my writing, and you have to incorporate these notations or any other notations in your writing also. So here I have written that the south of the restaurant there is a reception which has been built and which is encircled by a vehicle track, which also connects the reception with the restaurant and the pier. So going back to the after construction map, you can see that the vehicle track which is in the notation, and it is the double dotted line or the bold dotted line. Here this line encircles the reception or encompasses the reception, and it connects, this dotted line connects the restaurant and the pier in the north and the south direction. Now I have written that a footpath connects the houses located in the western side with the beach which is located further west to it. Now let's go to the map again. Here you can see that the single dotted line is the footpath, and this footpath connects all the houses, and this house is a bunch of houses or the accommodations which is located in the western side of the map. Here the footpath, after connecting all the houses, it connects with the beach itself which is more westward the accommodations. Another footpath connects the houses in the central region. Here I have mentioned about another footpath that is connecting all the houses. One of the footpath which connects with the beach encompasses the trees located near the houses. So here I have also said about the footpath that is encircling the palm trees or the given trees, and after that I have written there are sails near the piers in the southern side of the island, and the beach in the western side issued for swimming purposes too. Now if you check the southern side, you can see these are the little sails. First, if you think that they are yachts, they are not, because yachts are much bigger, and as compared to yachts you cannot call them boats also. It is better to call them sails. And here this portion of the beach is allocated for swimming purposes, so people who wants to swim can use that portion. After that I have written there are trees in the western, northeastern and southeastern side of the island. This is as before, means the before construction part of the map. These location of the trees and the number of trees hasn't decreased. You can spot one of the trees is missing, but you cannot write everything in this detailed way, so you can give it a miss. So you have to write that as it is. And in the overall or the closing paragraph, you can write, overall it is clear that the island has gone through a sea change between the pre-construction and the post-construction phase. So for phase you can use periods or time. Now here you can see that in the before image there was nothing as accommodations, restaurant, reception, nothing. It was just an island. Now after the construction period, there is, I would like to say that the tourism industry bloomed here. And you can find the cottages for the tourists, restaurant, reception, then there are boats for them, there are beaches for swimming purpose. So there is a sea change, or there is a vast change. You can write this overall or the overview in the second para itself. After writing the opening para, you can write the overall para or the overview para. But you can also write that at the end, as no marks will be deducted if you write that in the end itself. And this model answer would fetch you high band. If you write answers like this in your IELTS examination, it would get you high band. So all the best for your exam, and I will upload more videos like this. I want you all to put in the comment section the type of map or the type of question for the task 1 you want me to prepare and present on YouTube. If you want more videos like this in the future, please do comment us in the comment box. You can also give us the images of the questions in our Facebook page, the link of which is given below in the description box. Please subscribe our video, like and share the video, and keep on watching the videos of our channel for high band score in your IELTS exam.
Hello and welcome. In today's video, we will be writing task 1, and it is academic task 1 on bar graph. So the bar graph that I have selected for today's video is the chart below shows the expenditure on 3 categories among different age groups of residents in the UK in 2004. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. So we can see in the graph that it is at the top you can see citizens' expenditure in the UK, and then at the left hand side percentage of total spending. At the bottom you can see the age groups, which is under 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and above 76. And in the legend, that is the shading of the graph, I would say. So you can see the dark shading is food and drink. The one that is grayish is restaurant and hotel. And the one which is the lighter one, which is entertainment. If you're getting the exact question in the examination, first just try to think maybe for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and that should be the time you are taking just to think about the vocabularies. So in this case, if I see the question, that is, the chart below shows the expenditure, I will just read till this, and what kind of vocabularies come to my mind. For the chart, I can say the bar graph or the column graph. Again, I can say the vertical bar graph. So I can use that vocabulary instead of saying the chart. Next, you can see the chart below. So as this is the question paper, we, or the person who set that question, he has mentioned the chart below. But when we are writing, we should not be writing anything by saying the vertical bar graph below, because we are not providing with any kind of graph or something in the answer sheet. So this is just a basic thing to note, but whenever you are writing your paper, you can say the bar graph or the vertical bar graph or the column graph which is provided, or the given bar graph or the given vertical graph. In the question it says the chart below shows. So for the word shows, we can use the vocabulary depicts, illustrates, compares, Next, the word is expenditure. For expenditure, we can say spending of money, amount of money spent, or even we can say how much money was spent. Next, we can see three categories. So for that, the vocabulary can be, you can describe at least like the three categories. Just try to describe what are the categories: food and drink, restaurant and hotel, entertainment, just like that. Next is different age groups. For different age groups, just see how many number of age groups are given. So I can see 5 different kind of age groups are there. We can say 5 age groups, or even you can, just like the previous 3 categories vocabulary we did, we can mention the different age groups like below 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and above 76. Next, you see residents. For residents, the best vocabulary will be dwellers, people living in dash dash country, like whatever country is mentioned in the question. Here it is UK. So people living in the UK. One thing to note here is not all residents are citizens. So there is a difference between citizens and residents. Residence means you are living in certain country. Can be for permanent, can be temporary. Next is the UK. So you can say United Kingdom. Then in 2004 can be in the year 2004. At a glance, when I'm trying to see the striking feature, or what I should say here, like the overall paragraph. So if I'm trying to see what is something that stands out of the rest of the group or the rest of the categories, I can see there are 2 striking features here. And this can be different. And this is just my perspective that I'm trying to say here. It can be different with different people, and they can have a different outlook of this one, and it's just a point of view. The first striking feature that I can see is, as we can see the increase of age among the age groups, we can see increased spending of money in the category food and drink. So if you see the graph, you see under 30, it is like approximately 6%, and it just gets increased as the age groups in 31 to 45, it increased to like 13% approximately, and then it gets increased to 17% in 46 to 60 age group. In 61 to 75, I can see it is 20%, and in the 76 and above, I can see that as getting increased to 23%. So that's a striking feature that I can see just at a glance. The second striking feature that I can see is, if you try to see the age group 61 to 75, there is something that is really important in that age group. What is that? It is this age group, or the people in this age group has spent the most or the maximum in entertainment, and the least and the minimum in restaurant and hotel among all the age groups. So if we try to see it at a glance, this can be another striking feature, and this can be written in the overall as a striking feature. Next is grouping. So when it comes to the task 1, there are some confusions like how to group the graph when I'm writing, or how to group it overall that it will look good or it will make sense. So according to me, what I felt in this graph, you can group it in 2 ways. The first group, or the basic group I would say, is by the age groups. That is under 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and above 76. And the next group that I can see here The next group can be by categories, and this is a little bit different approach that I don't see most students taking. And in IELTS, if something is written differently, but that makes sense and is correct, or in speaking also, if you're speaking something that is distinct from what others are speaking, it fetches more bands, to be honest. So the next grouping can be by categories. What categories? Food and drink, restaurant and hotel, entertainment. If you are writing something and you are giving your 100% in the writing, nobody is going to deduct your band score. That's like if you're writing it with every single vocabulary that is mentioned, or you are getting all the vocabularies which is different or somewhat different, maybe 2 to 3 vocabularies you are having, and you're interchanging that between paragraphs and writing it properly, you will get good bands. But I'm just giving you another way of writing the task. That's it. So I will just try to write the task one with the first group that I mentioned, which is the general grouping that students do. But here I will be trying to group those bar graphs in a different pattern. And yes, if you're trying to group that in a different pattern, like a random pattern, I would say, not going under 30, then 31 to 45, in that manner, like the ascending order, you can group them if you feel that 2 or 3 of the bar graphs are having, or 2 or 3 of the groups are having similar features, and maybe the rest of them are having something different from each other. You can group it like that. And yeah, that can fetch you more bands, because most of the students, when they are trying to write and there is less time in the examination, they try to miss those points and they try to write it in the ascending order or whatever order is given in the question paper. So it's better to spend some time whenever you're getting the question, try to rearrange the groups and then try to write. So you're getting your vocabularies, you are rearranging the groups, you are getting the striking features which you will be writing in the overall paragraph, and then just start. Now I will be presenting you the answer that I would have written if I had received this question in the examination hall, and I would be grouping it with the first kind of grouping that I mentioned, that is with the age group. I might make another video of the same question with the other way of grouping, that is with the categories. But in this video, let's see with the first kind of grouping and rearranging the groups, how it can fetch you more bands in the examination. So let's start with my sample answer. And I have paraphrased the first paragraph according to the question. So my first para is: the vertical bar graph provided depicts how much money was spent on food and drink, restaurant and hotel, and entertainment by 5 age groups of people, and I have mentioned under the bracket below 30, 31 to 45, 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and above 76. Bracket close. Living in the UK or living in the United Kingdom for the year 2004. As you can see, my first paragraph, it paraphrases most of the words that is in the question paper, and these are the vocabulary. Even if you are just changing the tense, or even you are just trying to make an active a passive, it is also counted as a vocabulary. So there is nothing tough like you don't know certain words and you don't know maybe the synonyms of the words, but you can try to use another form. For example, for residence, you can say residing in. That is a vocabulary. That is kind of paraphrasing as well. Let's begin with my second paragraph, the grouping. It can be seen, or it is observable, that people of UK below the age of 30 spent most on restaurant and hotel. In the bracket, approximately 14%, then food and drink, in the bracket about 6%, and entertainment, in the bracket almost 7%. Here I tried explaining that the age group below 30, they spent like most on a certain group as compared to the other two groups. So I did not explain the graph as it is given, but here also I tried to compare between the three categories while mentioning about the age group. However, the opposite trend can be noticed for people, or you can say UK dwellers, who were in the age groups 46 to 60, 61 to 75, and above 76 years. What I tried mentioning here was that the first line that I said that people spend more on a certain category and the age group of that people, I tried mentioning another age group or age groups here who just did the opposite. So I tried contrasting that. And again, this is not as is that is given in the graph. So I am making comparisons. I am categorizing, or I am trying to group that in a different way. I'm trying to reorder or rearrange that in a different way. For these three age groups, spendings on restaurant and hotel is the least, almost 11%, 3%, and 6% respectively, as compared to the two other categories in the bracket food and drink and entertainment. What I did here is I tried mentioning which category people did spend the least, and that was restaurant and hotel. And I also mentioned what was the percentage of money that was spent on restaurant and hotel. And I used respectively, which is also another structure that we can use in writing. Now let's start with the next para. Moving further, the individuals residing in the United Kingdom who fell under the age group of 31 to 45 paid almost equal amount of money on food and drink and restaurant and hotel, approximately 13%, and they paid less than 10% when it comes to entertainment. This para basically tries to focus on one age group, which is 31 to 45. Why? Because that's the age group that is remaining in our writing. In the previous para, we mentioned four of the age groups. So this is the last but not the least age group that is left. And what did this age group do? This age group did like equal amount of their expenditure of money on food and drink and restaurant hotel, because that's what we can notice in the graph, and spending less than 10% in entertainment, because you can just see that in the graph and feel that they are the age group who almost tried spending within certain, I can say, amount of money and percentage of money, because their expenditure starts within the range of 7% and ends within like 13%. Now, the overview para, or I would say the interesting para. So for me, I try to place the overview para at the end of my graph or the task one of academic Ielts, but You can go ahead and put that in your second para if you want. The position of the overview para as a second para or a fourth para does not hamper your band score, to be honest, because it is you who is giving the striking features and you can mention that well in the second paragraph. If you are mentioning it and that makes sense, you are bound to get that good band score that you deserve. For me, I feel that whenever I'm writing a task, I get more and more points when I'm just looking at the graph again and again. And that can change my overview para whenever I'm just ending my writing task one. So I keep that or save that for the end, just like the dessert that you save at the end of your dinner. I do the same with my overview para. So at the end, when I'm writing my overview para, it can have more striking features in it. Like whenever I'm doing my brainstorming, I get most of the points that I'm writing for the task one, but for the overview, I make it look like three different striking feature or two different striking feature that I can choose at the end which one to write or which one I should not be using. It's totally up to you where you want the overview para to be placed. It can be in the second para, it can be in the fourth para. If you are good with brainstorming at the beginning of your writing task one, go ahead, place that in the second para. If you're writing it properly, you will get bands. That's it. This is my overview para now. Overall, the age group that has spent the least amount of money on restaurant and hotel is the same group of UK dwellers who paid the most on entertainment among all other different groups of people, and that is people within the age of 61 to 75. So here the major thing was to avoid the word age group, and age group. And while writing it, I found that yeah, I can make it people falling under the age or people within the age brackets, you can say, or people within the age, anything like that. And that is also a vocabulary to be added in the list of vocabulary that was given in the beginning of the video. That's how I would be writing my task 1 for IELTS Academic. I hope you like this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I would be uploading more videos for IELTS writing, and I hope that will be helpful to you. All the